This video is sponsored by Dwight Street Book Club. What the fuck am I supposed to do now that Interview with the Vampire is over?
I'll tell you what. It's rafting season, baby.
A society hates single people, and these pesky rafting companies won't let me go down the river solo.
I mean, what's up with that?
Something about safety and liability and needing more manpower to get a multi-person boat down the river.
Stupid. But
much like the 1984 Matthew Wilder song, ain't nobody gonna break my stride. So I put out an ad in Legs Christ, and wouldn't you know it, I got a hit! So let's see if this mystery mister is raft ready and can match my creek freak.
Let me know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. It's Jacob Anderson?
Correct, yes.
Lovely, cool, that's what I thought. You know what? You look pretty familiar to me.
No, I don't think I'm familiar to anyone. My name is Jacob Ernst Ellen.
No. Were you in the Matt LeBlanc sitcom episodes?
Yes, well, it was a small part. I played the friend of Joey from school time. Yes, you caught me.
I got you. You're a hockey player. Yeah. Good for you, man. Good for you. So have you ever been whitewater rafting?
No, I can't say I have. Sorry, just to be clear, I am a con man, and that's why I was putting on that voice, but now I know I can trust you. So,
okay, that's good.
This is me. This is the real me.
I'm also a con woman. We have that in
what's
common.
Your truth?
Yeah, I don't own this apartment.
Oh, but I mean, like most people rent, right? That's okay.
Yeah, but
you don't need to own it.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
but you don't live there.
No, yeah, exactly. The real person who rents this and pays for it is on vacation in California. I've just taken over. Yeah.
And put your art everywhere.
And put my art everywhere. And then I'm going to leave before they come back, and they're going to think that, like, the weirdest ghost haunted them.
Wait, they don't know?
No, of course not. I'm a con woman.
Oh.
I just noticed that the apartment was sitting empty, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go check that out.
A con woman with a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
just to make sure. Just to make sure that you're really...
My real name is Summer Green, you know, it's not Autumn Brown.
Summer Green is a great, like, R&B name. Summer Green.
Well, that's my true profession. I'm an R&B artist.
Summer Green!
Makes me feel fine. I tried to get Sam to sing for me, and you've done it, so thank you.
You could never get Sam to sing like
I know. I knew that he wouldn't, but I had to throw it out there.
But you can literally, like, you'll sit in a room near him, and you'll just hear through the wall, oh, la, 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 and he's like, yeah.
That sounded operatic. Is he singing opera?
He's quite operatic with his singing, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Well, we're all going to find out soon, aren't we?
Maybe. I mean, yes.
Yeah, I was like, the news is out there.
Maybe.
That's the twist. There's no rock star Lestat.
That'd be fucking awesome. Can you imagine if it was just like they just completely pulled
slam poetry Lestat. That's actually what it is.
So there was one day where this is really dark. People are gonna hate this.
Oh, give it to me.
So on the top of the black coffin, there's a dent from where Louis slammed Lestat's head.
Yes.
On the coffin.
Yes.
and I called that move Slam Reid, and I just had the best time. I was like, not with that scene necessarily, but just when that happened, I just thought it was so funny to call it Slam Reid. And then And then Rollin was giving us like some notes, and he was trying to like explain how he thought we should like break apart. And like I was meant to roll over the coffin, and
Uh-huh.
he did it. Like he showed us how to do it, which was a very unhinged thing for him to have done. Like
Yeah, I need the footage of that.
yeah, he just demonstrated it for us. And me and Sam were like, and I just whispered to Sam, I was like, Rolling Jones, Rolling Jones. I know. I discuss
Wow.
myself. It's like I'm
I
such a pun. Puns come too easily to me.
I think we have to end the interview there. That's it, guys. I
What
don't
interview? We're
I
just
don't know.
chatting.
I know.
Yeah, we're
But
just
I don't
chatting
know that we
about
can top that. That's pretty peak for me.
Slam Reed,
Slam Reid and
Slam Reed,
Roland Jones.
and Rolling Jones.
God, I love that.
It was one of the maddest things I've seen. How often do you see a showrunner just like fully barrel roll over a coffin? He gets into it, Rolling. He's like, you know,
Yeah. Full
yeah,
alligator. Barrel
yeah,
roll.
yeah. It was.
Um,
It was like anyway.
did he like get up with
Whitewater
like
rafting.
whitewater rafting? Whitewater rafting.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Okay, well, so you've never been whitewater rafting. Are you prepared to put your life in the hands of a 19-year-old named Corn Dog to whisk you through the whirlpools of Mother Nature?
That's literally what I live for. That is that's been an aspiration of mine for a very long time.
Okay, good. You're moving up in the ranks here. You lost a few points for saying you'd never been rafting, but
But it's
you're
because
making
I've
up for
been
it here.
waiting. I was waiting for this moment. That's
For
all it
this,
was.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna throw out a scenario to you, okay? So
Mm.
we're in the boat headed toward a class 4 Chunderdome rapid, okay? Guide yells all
Underdone.
forward. Chunderdome, Jacob, Chunderdome.
Yeah.
Paddling, paddling. We bump a rock. Autumn goes sailing into the drink. Do you, Jacob,
Yeah.
abide by the guide's rules and keep paddling until you get through the rapid, or do you jump in, be my hero, and save me?
I would jump in, not, but like it's not out of a sense of heroic, but just heroics, but just like I think I would really, it's selfish. I'd be like, I don't want the guilt. Also, I don't want you to come back and haunt me. So like I'm getting out.
So
I'll jump out and I'll try and help you.
you're assuming I'm gone, I'm dead. There's no hope for Autumn.
Yeah.
So if Autumn's gone, I'm gone because I can't bear the weight of that.
Yeah. It's quite a narcissistic way to like it's like a very narcissistic version of the trolley problem or something. I want to save somebody else so that I don't feel bad about not saving them.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about assuaging your own guilt. Am I right?
Why are any of us here other than for that reason?
Yeah,
No,
there's
I
no other
wouldn't.
purpose to life.
What do people do in that situation? Like in whitewater rafting, do people actually just leave people in the drink? Like they just leave
Well, no,
people in
so
the
what you're supposed to, if you fall out, let
yeah.
me give you the whole shakedown here. You're supposed to come up and try as hard as you can to swim back to the boat. That's goal number one. Even if it's not your boat, there's another boat, you get to a boat. But if you can't do that, or if the rapids are too, rough and crazy, get on your back with your feet up downstream so that you don't get caught on any rocks from underneath. And you wait for the rapid to spit you out. And then once it spits you out, you get back to the boat.
Nah, nah. See, like I just don't know why you would make the choice. Like, why would you choose to do that?
No,
It just
because it's like
sounds like
experiencing. You were talking about laughter and relief earlier. It's about like going through
yeah,
this really dangerous thing and then coming out the other side and the immense relief of like, I didn't die. Isn't that
I
fun?
say this with like all the love in the world. It sounds like a fairly Caucasian thing to be into. I don't trust the water. I'm not getting. No, I will never go whitewater rafting. I'm glad that you've told me that because I'm out.
Oh, okay. I've ruined it
I'm
for
not
you.
coming with you anymore. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm
I mean,
sorry.
I have to say, like, yeah, it's pretty much like an entirely Caucasian customer who's coming
Yeah.
and checking in and doing that. So
No
I can't.
shit. I mean, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to isolate the black whitewater rafting contingent that is surely out there in the world. Like, do
Yes,
your thing. That's amazing. I'm happy for you. You're bucking the trend. But no, it's not for me.
not
I've
for
changed
you.
my mind. I thought it was
Okay.
like a way safer thing. I guess I've
I
never
mean,
really thought that much about it. I
it's
hate it.
pretty
So
safe, but it's honestly the safety is kind of also up to the people you're in a boat with. The guide can only do so much. So yeah, you
hell
have to,
no.
right?
No.
You have to look
No.
to the person next to you and be like, are they going to listen and do what they need to do? Or are they going to panic when the, rapid comes up, not paddle, and then we're screwed. So yeah, it's a really stupid
Mm.
activity, honestly, but it's a lot of fun.
Look, I'm happy for you.
Okay.
Genuinely. I love when people live their dreams and just do the things they're interested in, and that's great. But
Like,
not me.
could
I
not
like
pay me to put me in a boat.
no. I like dry land.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I can give that. Is there anyone on like the cast or the crew of Interview with the Vampire that you would maybe trust the most to like get you down a river? Maybe not rapids, but just down a river.
Well, no, me. There is. I've been on like there's pedalos in Prague.
Hmm.
Like pedal boats. You could
Yeah.
go around the thing, and occasionally like we'd go on them. And that's that. You put in some level of trust, I guess, but it's very like it's almost on rails. Like it's not. Yeah, I'd trust Delaney. I'd trust Sam,
Is there anyone you wouldn't trust in a
Eric, and I say that with like I love Eric so much. That's my that's my baby.
yeah,
But
but
nah.
get that man
I just,
in he does not belong in a boat.
but also I think he'd probably just start complaining like partway through. He wouldn't be relaxing anymore. Do you know who'd be great on a whitewater rafting thing? Roxanne. Like Roxanne would just like because I think
Yes.
she'd keep everyone calm, but she'd also
Yes.
like she wouldn't take any shit. Like she's not gonna let it get out of hand. She's gonna
Yeah.
keep everybody like, on the straight and narrow.
I want to travel the world with Roxanne. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's like I think her and Delaney are my personal MVPs for season 2. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but they are. That scene in episode 6 where
Uh-huh.
they're just like, when Madeline's reading her diary, like
Yes.
it I often like I find it quite easy to just like get lost in a scene and enjoy it and like and be Louis for a bit. In that one, I was just like I was having a conversation with them, and I was supposed to be pissed off that this was
Yeah.
happening. And I was just like, oh, look at like I was like, this chemistry is mad. Like it's just
Yeah.
barely, and you get barely, there's not a lot of time that they get together, and by necessity,
Looking on with hard eyes.
yeah, they're just excellent. They're just brilliant, brilliant actors.
They really
Um,
are.
yeah. Anyway, whitewater rafting,
No, okay, we're
as
done.
we were talking about.
We gotta actually like get into an interview at some point. So
Yeah, I'm asking you about whitewater rafting.
yeah, that's the interview. Yeah.
What we talk about wine. I don't know a lot about wine,
Well,
but
what do you want to know about wine?
like everything. I want to know everything about wine because my like what I generally do in a restaurant,
Hmm.
just for context, is
Hmm.
the person comes over and like because I'm an actor, I get taken to like fancy restaurants sometimes by like producers and stuff, and they're like, yeah,
Yes.
get what you want, da-da. And then like people come over and they're like, and I'm not trying to, I'm cultured in my own ways.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck it. I don't feel like I need to be cultured in restaurants.
No.
And
Yeah.
so the person comes over and then they'll be like, what kind of wine do you like? And I'm like, I don't really know. And they're like, do you want something crisp? Do you want something rosy, a bit oaky? And I'll be like, what do you have that tastes like juice? Like what is the most apple juicy
Yes.
wine you have?
Hmm.
And the best thing about it is like there's always that person that you say it and they go, "I got you," and then
I
they
know
go and they get
exactly
you the
what you
juice
want.
wine, and you're like, "Yes."
You know, our
So
winery
tell me
has
about wine.
well, I was gonna say the winery that I work for has like an
Mm.
apple that we have an apple wine and it tastes like apple juice. So,
But is that okay? So not to be contradictory because I've just said about the apple wine, but is
yes.
that not what makes that different to cider? Is it
So,
because it's
alcohol content. So, if it's
oh
above a certain alcohol content, it's not a cider anymore, it's a wine. And then also
okay,
too, most of the time with wines, it's ciders are generally carbonated, whereas the wine, you can carbonate it, but ours, for
it's true.
example, we don't carbonate. Generally, the only carbonated wines that you're getting are a champagne or a prosecco or something along those lines. I work at a winery, but it's not like one of those. It's a really, really good winery. We make really good wine, but it's a very like casual atmosphere. It's not like snobby, like Napa, Sonoma, level of, where you have to dress up nice. Like I could wear this to work if I wanted to, and no one would.
What does that say?
This is my
Loose, loose tat,
Loustat. This
loose
is
tat,
Loustat. That's the
loose
ship name
tat.
for Louis and Lestat.
And are they people that work at the winery?
Yes. This guy's like kind of a jerk sometimes, but I don't know. This guy's okay. He likes to lurk in the corner a lot.
That guy has like not Vivian Lee, kind of Vivian Lee sort of hair, you know? Like it's like he's got quite classic sort of
Yes.
blonde flowing locks. And the other guy is from what I could see was he's very he seemed quite handsome from the t-shirt, but
Yes.
he's giving off like haughty kind of like,
Mm.
you know, like a
Yeah.
bit
It's amazing that
removed and
you've
detached.
you've discerned so much about their character and who they are just from the t-shirt. It's
Mm.
almost like you might have met these people before in real life.
Yeah. Well, when you were talking about the Sonoma winery as well, I was like, I've heard that there are vampires in Sonoma that live in like I don't know, they live in it's almost like a compound or something, and they just chill and like debate vampire stuff and hang out and hate each other and love each other and stuff. It, it sounds like a pretty
Sounds
cool
like a dream.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you into vampire stuff as well?
I I honestly don't really know. Like, I don't get what it's all about, to be honest with you. Like, food is so good, why drink blood?
Well, I person because I'm into vampires. I like vampire stuff.
Oh,
I
okay.
have to
Are you?
watch. I have to see this show. It sounds good.
What's it
Um,
called? Is it that interview with
loose,
a vampire
loose
show?
tat, loose tat.
Loustat. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the title of the
yeah.
show.
But I would say that blood. It's not you're not just drink. It's not like drinking a liquid. I wouldn't think it's like you're taking in the essence of everything that a person has ever felt or eaten or experienced, and that is rushing through your body. It's like the the best sugar high you could ever experience
So
is
you're
what I
telling me
think.
you're you're telling me it's kind of like the Willy Wonka gum. That's like a full meal in one.
Yeah,
You experience
yeah.
everything all in one.
Sometimes it tastes like gravy. Sometimes it tastes like custard or whatever you're into.
Love that.
Copper.
You've turned me around. I'm totally gonna get into vampires now.
You should open a vampire winery in Sonoma.
I should. I
Yeah.
should. Yeah. And just have everyone kind of give a side eye to the red wine. Never really know what's in this.
But would you if somebody had made a red wine, they made
Mhm.
a and they're like, this is the best red wine you will ever have in your life.
Uh-huh.
It's crispy and oaky and
Hmm.
all of the things,
Wonderful
berry,
tannic structure.
wonderful satanic structure.
tannic.
Oh,
But
tannics.
satanic would go with like a vampire wine.
Yeah, well, that's they maybe it would have that because they'd be slowly getting to the fact that they're like,
Hmm.
however, unfortunately, um, I did cut myself and bleed into this batch, but I tried it, and like my partner tried it, and it's really fucking good. Would you like some? I'm clean. Like, would you like to try it? Would you drink it?
It
Would you
would
take a bottle for free?
a free bottle. Well, then that's all you needed to say. Can I tell you this? I went on a walk like a month and a half ago, and
Yeah.
I'm walking around there's this old abandoned abbey next to my apartments, and I look over, and someone has just abandoned a full bottle of wine at on the abbey grounds, not even open, still sealed. And I called my friends, and they were like, "Throw that shit away, Autumn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're so like the fact that you're even considering taking this home proves how stupid you are and foolish you are.
I think did
But a free bottle of wine is a free bottle of wine. I took it home and I drank it and I was fine. I was fine.
you drank it?
Of course I did,
Autumn. That's
Jacob.
no, because what you're not considering is not about like hygiene. Doesn't matter that it wasn't opened. What you haven't considered is what about the curses that somebody's put into that wine. Because if it's been left somewhere, if it's been left on the side, that's like some monkey paw shit. That's somebody's put some serious magic into that.
Well, so we were able to figure out, we knew who the lady was who left it because
Yeah.
she had gone to the winery ahead of time and tried to sneak the bottle onto the winery property, and then we kicked her out. And then when I sent
Oh,
the picture, they were like, that's the bottle of wine that she was trying to sneak onto the property. So that's from that lady. She just like left it.
but did she curse it?
I mean, my life has worked out pretty well so far, so maybe she blessed it. It was on Abbey grounds, sanctified grounds. So maybe if there was a curse, it got canceled out, you know?
It's not necessarily how curses work, but let me know in a month.
Okay.
let me know. Let me know if you're cursed. What the first? Yeah.
And the next time we have a conversation, I've like aged 40 years and like my hand is missing. And you'll say, I told you you shouldn't have drunk that wine.
Yeah. And that's also that doesn't sound like the worst kind of curse at all. That sounds like quite like an aesthetic curse. It's like,
Yeah, but
you
I'm
know,
vain.
it was quite a vain curse. What about like tiny flesh eating parasites inside your body, but they're not actually like killing you. You can just feel it. You just can feel them just like
Well, I have that. It's called anxiety. So we're already
I mean,
there.
to be fair, I think that's that was the image that was coming to my mind as like a thing that is fucking awful. And yeah, yeah, you're right. That is touche.
Speaking of complex mental illness and intense trauma,
Yeah.
let's get into this episode, Jacob. Right? That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Season two is over. I kind of feel like, honestly, this season, do you know those like champagne pyramids, those fancy ones that they do at weddings, like really nice ones that I've never been invited to, where like they're just
Yeah.
stacking a bunch of glasses on top of each other and they pour the champagne and you're just waiting for that fool to come by and take a bottom one and watch it all come crashing down. I feel like season two was like watching that happen, and then finally the finale is Daniel taking that glass and seeing how everything comes crashing down. So, I mean, how do you feel standing amidst all the spilled champagne and broken glass? No more worries about spoilers, no more worries about reviews and reactions because it's out there. It's all
Mm.
done. People have taken it in. How do you feel to
Yeah.
like just have it done?
It feels good. I'm glad that it's all out there. I think that I had my sort of like big cathartic moments like when we finished shooting. Like I
Mhm.
had, and when we went to New Orleans, I did like a whole sort of ritual of like scattering the Dubai stones.
Yes.
Um, and it, I think that really gave me some closure that I didn't know I was gonna get. And obviously, like, you work on the show kind of continually, this show, because a lot of it's built in post, and
Mhm.
Rolin like loves to do a lot afterwards. And so you kind of do ADR like immediately, like on first cuts and stuff, and then he sort of rewrites it and does little bits. Especially for me, it's like I think season one I did, what was it, 2 sessions an episode, and they were like it was like 7 hours of ADR per
Whoa.
episode. It was a
Whoa.
lot less for season two, but
That's
yeah,
nice.
it was insane.
I kind of think it's a nice lead in. You talk about the rocks in Dubai and everything like that. And then
Mm,
within the episode, I mean, the episode is all like one big gut punch after another.
mm,
But starting right off at the bat, at the very beginning, we have like this. We learn that Louis still carries like these rocks within his ankles from the cuts that healed while he was buried alive.
yeah.
And, I think Armand is quick to swoop in and be like, well, you could remove those anytime. But obviously to Louis, it's like this reminder of what happened to Claudia and everything like
Yeah.
that. And of
Shut up,
course,
Armand.
right, right,
Yeah.
get out of here. Like, of course he would want him to like remove it
For
and
such a
like,
like traumatized individual, he just has absolutely no empathy. I mean, do you know what? He's unwell. Armand is unwell.
this whole season, I've been very like I've come so much around to him because starting off, I was like, oh no, you know, he's, this big evil mastermind behind it all. But as the season's gone on, I'm like, no, there's a lot more to him. And he's just a hurt little bunny rabbit, waiting for someone to help heal his broken little legs and stuff. And then, yeah, after this episode, in rewatching, I'm kind of like, I can't even look at you right now.
You
It's
got gaslit. It happened. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm kind of curious because, me and some of the other gals and everything on Twitter and YouTube and everything have discussed, being buried alive, the rocks, and then also the rocks within the Zen garden and everything. And that's Louis' calm place. Is there
Mm.
like some deeper meaning to the Zen garden being filled with rocks and everything
Yeah. Yeah.
versus,
I think the whole like kind of what you learn in that final moment really is that that room has
Mhm.
become this like gallery of uh of grief and of like remembering and well, I can't remember what was the quote that Claudia says in season one. She says something like, "You have to leave the damage so that we have to leave the damage so we remember the damage." And I think that is kind of a really that really connects to that final moment with
Yeah.
the dress and the stones. And I mean, the stones have been there the whole time, so but also the magnolia tree is kind of it's a weird move, but I think it's also Armand probably like putting it there in
Yeah.
this place that is
You got to
like
get it out of there.
yeah, and it being right in the center of Louis' sort of like calm zone, his calm place,
Yeah.
the twisted bookshelf that Louis can't reach, like
Yes.
fucked up.
So
Um,
fucked up.
yeah, it's definitely it's hugely symbolic and meaningful. And also the fact that it stops working, like I think it stops working for Louis.
Mhm.
The picture of Paul, the portrait of Paul, there is so little that I can take credit for in this show in terms of like the
Yeah.
writing, because we have the best writers
Yeah.
ever. But
Honestly.
but that was like they were like, what is one thing that you need for Louis at the very end? And the dress was already a part of it. And I was like, Paul has to be there.
Oh,
Like, but he's I don't know how, but he has to be there. I thought like him putting up that portrait, I was like, he has
yes.
it. he has it
Yeah.
in storage and he's not been able to look at it this whole time. And I
Yeah.
think it's easy with all of the kind of like insanity of Paris and necessary for like for these immortal characters that have lived all this time. You sort of, I guess their former existence and their former life could be a whisper, but not for Louis. Like he's so holding on to, he has such a chip on his shoulder. And I felt like Paul was the biggest heartbreak before Claudia.
Yeah. And I mean, it's
And
so much of like, so much of season one is Louis's journey and not being able to let go of what happened to Paul. And then,
mm,
beginning of season two, it's kind of Louis not being able to let go with what happened to Lestat and the guilt there. But then ultimately, yeah, where we end with this season, it's all about Claudia. And it just makes so much perfect sense that you would have a portrait of Paul in Claudia's dress there as those reminders and everything,
yeah. And to be able to
recognizing
look at, yeah, exactly, recognizing your grief and
exactly.
being able to look at it and accept it is,
Yeah. Because I think so much of like Louis, at least, how I've interpreted him is very much like, yes, he's talking about what happened, but it's been very like cold and calculated. And it's not really like taking into like allowing himself that recognition of
mm,
like, yes, this horrible thing has happened, but like at some point, how do I take that horrible thing and not allow it to keep me, wrapped in
not
who I
spiral.
am?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. And growing
yeah.
from here, moving on from not moving on from them, but just
Like he needed somebody to draw it out of him. You know, he
yeah.
needed somebody to that he could trust that could could explore that. I say safely, but Daniel's kind of he's pretty
It's pretty brusque and
he's
pushes a
quite
little bit.
abrasive. Yeah.
I mean, that also like leads into kind of what Louis needs. Like Louis always seeks out not the calm, you know, he wouldn't go after like someone who would like calmly pull all of this information out. He likes the friction. He likes
Yeah.
that abrasiveness. So it
Yeah,
would
he
have to
needs
be
it.
someone like Daniel to pull this out of him.
And Louis also like he's in whatever way he is. This is a very, I mean, it's a word in the dictionary, but there's a very Anne Rice word is alluring or alluring.
Hmm.
If you've ever listened to the audiobooks, shout out Simon Vance. Alluring. The way he says that
Allure.
is such a vibe. Um, no, but like Louis has that kind of pull, he has that charisma that I think he kind of can have people sort of eating out of his hands over
Hmm.
time, and particularly I think in the 70s at the time where he meets Daniel,
Yeah.
it all kind of comes quite easy to him. And he like, he brings uh, a boy home. He brings one of his fascinating boys home, and they're not very fascinating. And he draws heroin or coke or whatever it is out of their bloodstream, and then he eats them. Oh wait, sorry, that's not everything. They fuck and then he eats them. Like
Yeah.
that is, and that's his life, and that's I think it's really lost its a glamour and excitement, and it's kind of self-destructive. So I think the fact that Daniel is that kind of abrasive, like direct, it's like
Yeah.
he's sort of goofy. He's cute. He's funny. Like I think that really that really hits on something different for him. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is
you,
someone different.
yeah, like I think that's a really important part of it. He's like,
Uh-huh.
this kid is funny,
Yeah.
and I've spent my life, I've spent the last however many years with Armand,
Who's
and
not
Armand is not
funny.
funny. He's not funny. The point is that at the end of the season, Louis is good enough for himself. He doesn't need a man. He's good,
Yes. Ugh.
you know?
That's exactly it. He needs time because you know, I mean, I kind of wondered leading into this, like, are we going to end with Louis and Lestat like fully back together? No. And
Mm.
I love that it's not because Louis really does need that time alone. He's never, especially as a vampire, you know, in his new life, gotten to figure out who Louis is. You
Mm.
know, who are you, Louis?
He
And
That's a terrifying question for Louis as well. He can't be alone from, from 19, like I think the fact that he jumps into that relationship with Armand so quickly, which I think is like I think that it is based on something. There is an
yes.
attraction, there is a pull, but like the fact that he jumps into that relationship in the way he does, and he has to construct this kind of dream version of Lestat. He's not able to be on his own. He's just not one of those people. He has to have a distraction, and he has to have, I think, something to fight against. Like he
Uh-huh.
needs uh like a foil. He
Yeah.
needs he needs like some passion, but also somebody that he can disagree with and he can have a problem with, and it distracts him from all the problems he has with himself. It's really lovely that at the end he's like, I'm actually okay. It's my favorite line, I think, in the whole season is just when Daniel's like, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? Or whatever he says. And Louis like, I'm fine. And he means it. He means
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds like dopey to even say that because the language is so beautiful in this show, and there's some beautiful lines that
Yeah, but
talk about where Louis is,
sometimes,
but it's
I
so
mean,
simple.
exactly, the beauty and simplicity.
Mm.
And like you said, the truth behind it. He says he's fine, and he is fine.
He means it, and that's the only time he means it. You know.
Yeah. And so much of like, you know, their relationship has been performance, you know, with Louis and Daniel trying to like craft this image of himself that he wants Daniel to you know, believe and everything like that. But Daniel's not
Hmm.
taking it. And so it is like finally, I mean, I think definitely earlier in the season we do see Louis like being a lot more real and honest with Daniel, but it is a nice moment of him actually meaning the words that he's saying.
Yeah, yeah, and he does. I think particularly in episode 1 and episode 5, where he's so raw with
Yeah.
Daniel. And really, when Armand's not around, that is the real him. Louis is not that connected to his detachment, his vampire detachment. I think that you could rewatch season 1, and this was something that we were trying to do as well. That like he's playing at detachment. I think in the 70s, the detachment is more real.
Yeah, and
Uh,
present.
but yeah, he's playing a part, and he's kind of playing and toying with Daniel to an extent. I think like just trying to make him work harder to get the truth out of him.
Yeah. You're like,
So
earn that Pulitzer, man.
yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna make this easy for you.
Yeah, yeah, you got to work at it. Can we talk a little bit about the torching of the theater? What a satisfying scene to watch because oh my God, did those bitches deserve every last little bit of it. How
Fuck yeah.
how did that feel for you? I mean, obviously I know like you're an actor and everything, but like, you know, just for the character of Louis and everything, did you feel like an immense satisfaction being able to like film those scenes? And also just on like a human level. Did you kind of feel like Batman with like all the fires and everything and like I am vengeance with my machete, even though Batman doesn't really kill people?
Yeah, yeah, that was a terrible example, but
Yeah, sorry.
no, but I know what you mean. No, I did. I felt like it was like John McClane or something, or
Yeah.
Blade, I
Yippee-ki-yay,
guess.
motherfuckers.
Yeah. But which was John McClane was one of Rollin's many references for Louis. Again, our show is high and it's low and it's
Love that.
everything in between, and proudly so as well. But it was fun. But I think it's interesting because you don't see a lot of it. You don't really see the whole coven kind of taken out one by one because he does it all in one as well. But I remember we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about like rage being, it's like that is more about rage and madness taking over your body than it is about revenge or vengeance. I think the vengeance, the sense of there is nothing that could bring Claudia back. I think he's already kind of processed that. Like, he knows that killing them is not going to bring her back. But he's
Yeah.
so overcome with grief and then rage and then madness and then rage again. And then I think he's a machine at that point. I think it's actually not, I think it's quite devoid of emotion. I always think like revenge is so like, and it's cathartic. And he does get some catharsis out of the revenge he takes. I think particularly with Santiago, because he was particularly cruel. Like, he takes a
Yes.
particular delight in the humiliation
Yeah.
of Claudia, Madeline as they're dying. This is a long way around saying that actually I think it's more sad. You know? Yes,
Okay.
I looked like cool, and I like my funny little like my hair and
It
wearing
was
that coat.
loved it. It was a look.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think the saddest thing for me is to play that stuff was I was kind of like, Louis not here.
No. Yeah.
He's not really here. He's fallen so far back into his own
Yeah. I mean,
that
he says, like once all the rage and madness left my body, nothing replaced it. There was nothing.
yeah. Yeah. So it didn't feel like, yeah, Louis getting his thing. It felt like this is really, really sad. This
Yeah.
man is overcome with sadness to such an extreme degree that he's not even really fully aware of what he's doing, and it's not going to bring his daughter back slash sister. This,
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's like something, I don't know, it's something he has to do.
Debbie Downer.
He has to. I do have to know though, like, please tell me that somebody has Ben Daniels prop head sitting on a mantelpiece somewhere.
Tammy's got to have it. I think Tammy's got it.
Okay. I'm
Tami
sure
Lane,
she
by the way,
has. Yeah, she's
and she's
amazing.
also like fully been like my support since the beginning. She's there with me every day. She's the first person I see in the morning, and just like is an amazing human being and like insanely talented.
Well, while we're talking about like Tami Lane and, special effects makeup and everything, the episode 5 burning,
Mm.
um, your little Instagram video of Joan's barbecue and foot massage.
Yeah.
Totally uncalled for. How dare you?
Oh, I don't know why my brain works like this.
I'm
It does.
I loved it. I'm glad that I was at my apartment when I saw it because I immediately like bursted out cackling. It's the type of
Nobody,
like
but no one knew what the song was. I was singing it, and like everyone was like, "What is that?" Like,
I
they thought I made it
literally
up.
I literally went to work that day and I could not get it out of my I kept like I was pouring the wine. I was like, Jones barbecue and foot massage, Jones barbecue and
It's
foot
very
massage.
catchy. It's
It's
very
an
catchy.
insanely catchy song. Okay, so something that I think is like really, really interesting after Louis burns, the theater and everything like that, he has this conversation with Armand, it's like where Armand is admitting his role in everything to Louis, even though we know that's not the full truth now.
Mm.
And then obviously they go to see Lestat, and Louis kind of tells Armand, like, you'll never make it up to me. But obviously when he goes and confronts Lestat, he ends up making the choice to go with Armand. And
Yeah.
I understand the
You,
goal is like to kill. This is like yet again like killing Lestat without burning him. This is what's gonna like hurt him the most in the moment is
yeah.
leaving him for Armand.
Mm.
But I mean, do you think there's any part of Louis that feels like perhaps maybe I could get over this? And so,
Maybe
or,
that
or
was
does
a little bit dramatic.
77 years later, he's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Am I still doing this out of spite? Yes, I am.
I think maybe,
Okay.
yeah, maybe he was remembering that moment back and felt a bit cringe about it. It's like, it was very presumptuous of me. Um, no, I think there are a few things to take into consideration with that.
Hmm.
I think that ultimately, initially, fuck Armand. Like, why is he doesn't owe him forgiveness.
No.
And he doesn't, and fuck Lestat at that
Yeah.
point, he doesn't owe him forgiveness. And I
Yeah.
think that because of everything we know about Louis and Lestat's bond, and it is so deep, and it's almost like they're soulmates. I mean, that kind of feels like a very basic way to put it, but like, the
They
vampire bond,
are. Yeah.
he knows that he there's probably a sort of element to Louis that you do see in episode 7 with their relationship. There's like a cruelty like that Louis has. And I think that he knows where his power is with
Hmm.
Lestat sometimes.
Hmm.
And so I think that I don't imagine that it's going to be revisited. I don't know. You have to ask Rollin, but like I think that that moment is probably slightly more painful and possibly crueler if you are experiencing Louis through Lestat's eyes. I think it does fuck Lestat up,
Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
he's also what he's threatening him with is vampire loneliness. You know,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna make sure that you're lonely because nobody is ever gonna. I know and you know, nobody else has this connection for either of us really. So it's a
Hmm.
mutual punishment.
Yeah.
Um, but Claudia has just died,
Yeah.
and so I think it's like that's the that's the death because yeah, you can't really kill him physically at this point, and Louis knows that. So it's like the only thing I have is to break this thing, to just
Yeah.
break this bond. Although, can you ever really break that bond? And yeah, unfortunately for Armand, or not, because look what he did. Um,
Yeah.
he's the shrapnel. He
Yeah.
catches the shrapnel from that, and so
He's
they
kind
live
of
in
he's the
spite.
bomb and the shrapnel a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you put yourself in this situation, but also like God to forever be just there to be
No, that's
spite.
it. Forever to forever be just there,
Yeah.
and that's so much more than who Armand is. Like Armand is this hugely complex, like freaky, amazing, interesting character. But
Yeah.
through Louis's eyes, he's kind of just there. I
Yeah.
think for the next 77 years. And I've said this before, but I think they didn't spend that much time together in that time. Like I think Louis went off and ate and got fucked up and self-destructive.
Yeah. Just
And
found
Armand was
himself
probably sort of trying to play house with him, and Louis gonna Louis.
tragedy
It's
all
sad.
around.
It is. I do feel bad for Armand to an extent. Um,
Yeah.
but you can't like moralize. You can't really
No,
moralize
I
with this show.
know. It's so ridiculous. So I see people have arguments on the internet, and I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? Like,
Yeah, they're all awful.
they're all terrible. They all do terrible things. They all have their parts that they play in this. Like, what are we gaining here? What's
Yeah,
what's the goal? Are you gonna try to say that this person is good?
but we also love them.
Well, we love
Like
them.
it's the same kind of nuance that exists in human
Yes.
existence. But
Yeah.
I think Rollin said something in season 1, and maybe even before we started shooting. He was like, "This story does not mix well with reduction. It is far too complex. You
Yeah.
just have to feel what you feel and experience behavior that you might feel uncomfortable with. And you can love this character 1 minute, and you can hate them the next, and then you can love them again, and you can hate reduction doesn't will not the show's not gonna work for you if you
Yeah.
have to sort of reduce everything down to
Good,
acts
bad.
and
Yeah.
yeah. I know that's definitely the experience I had in the book. There's like characters that I was like, oh, you're cool, and you know, like you seem like this sort of adventurous Indiana Jones vampire.
Yeah.
No, you're Marius, and yuck.
Oh,
No,
glorious. I'm such
like
a
one of my favorite characters is Gabrielle in the books, and
Mhm.
like, whoa, you know,
What's she doing?
yeah. The only one that I feel like you were right and continue to be right, and they did you wrong is Akasha. I'm like, I'm rooting for her. Burn it all down. Take me too.
You're like, I deserve to go. I'm sorry. I'm getting out of
Yeah.
here.
I feel like I should say this because I've talked a lot in other interviews about Armand and Louis and their relationship. And I feel like I've come out of the interviews being like, oh shit, was I a bit like dismissive of
Oh,
of of,
okay. Yeah, let's go back.
of
Let's
their
clear the
relationship?
air here. Yeah.
But actually, I think that that's very true to the book.
Hmm.
To the first book. Their relationship didn't make a lot of sense to me, really, at any of the times that I've read the first book. It feels like this sort of almost like a perfunctory, convenient thing. They're like, oh, and we just kind of hung out and traveled the world together.
Like, not to dismiss Louis and Armand, but it didn't make sense.
It
And
never
why were
made
they
sense.
together? And I just
It
don't
never
get
made
it.
sense. It doesn't make sense that.
But
Um,
I mean,
yeah.
it makes sense for the reasons that I've at least presented for me in the book and also the show. It's just that, yeah, I think Armand does kind of fill that void for
Mm,
Louis. And then, yeah, when they go off and travel the world together, it really is because like there is nothing left in Louis at this point. And
mm,
he's just kind of like a dandelion seed floating on the wind. Like, yeah, whatever. I'll just go. Because what else am I doing? I'm just existing. So if, you're gonna take me with you, then fine. I guess I'll go.
yeah.
But I mean, obviously, like in the episode, Daniel drops the big bombshell, thanks to DJ Vampire Sam.
I love that. Louis a
Um,
DJ now.
yeah, he has a job, okay? He's out here,
Yeah.
making money. So honestly, good for him. He's helping the economy.
He's not paying his taxes. Come
Oh,
on.
yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the real test of vampire
That's
morality. Are they paying their taxes?
we're so in sync. That's what I was just thinking. I was like, Louis and Armand are paying their taxes.
And that's what makes them better than Sam.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have this bombshell reveal that obviously Armand directed the whole play. All of them were supposed to go. It was Lestat who saved him. Armand's been lying for
Mm.
all of these years. And I have to say, I do think that Armand got off a little bit easy. I mean, I know that like he got thrown up against the wall and everything, and like that hurts, but he's an cheap vampire, so he'll be fine. But
Yeah.
and I mean, it was kind of shocking for me watching. It took a different turn than what I expected because I definitely thought that it was again going to be like that huge explosive rage and everything, and Louis was going to tear up the entire apartment. But really, he's like, okay, don't touch Daniel. Daniel, I'm going to give you the money. Peace out. I'm out of here. And I mean, what do you think was kind of like going through Louis's mind in that moment?
When
Yeah.
he slam reads him against the wall. Yeah, so when he slam reads Armand against the thing, um, violence is again, it's difficult to talk about it without getting into a sort of human context of like morality in a human context. But I
Yeah,
think that
and I'm
he's
not saying
trying to
he,
get him to stop lying. Like I
yeah,
think that's what that is. You can't really hear it, I don't think, in the final mix, but he's just trying to like Armand is just scrambling again. He's lying more.
yeah,
And Louis is just like, just stop. Stop. Get the fuck out of my head. Just go away. And that's why he slams him against the wall. And yeah, and then I just think he's just like, so small right now. I and I think there is an element. I mean, he says that to the start as well, but I think like there's an element to Louis that just always knew. You know, I don't know if he might not have
Gotcha.
known exactly what it is, but I think I think Louis had an inkling that there was a big lie, you know, that was removed or omitted in some way. And so I
Yeah.
think when he hears it and it's that one and it's Claudia, I think
Uh-huh.
it's just like, we're done here.
But
Move out, take your
yeah.
shit. I don't want to see you again. I
Yeah.
don't want to see your face. Your face was already making me feel pretty angry before. Now we're at an, we're at an 11, guys.
Uh-huh. Which then, of course, I mean, he storms out, leads us to New Orleans. I feel like this reunion scene is like the scene of the episode. And I mean, perhaps the whole season, because A, it's the start of Louis, coming to that acceptance about himself and thanking Lestat for, I didn't realize it was a gift and everything. But also, just more importantly, it's not about them coming together. It's about them, again, recognizing their own shared grief over the loss of their daughter.
Yeah.
And I mean, how did you guys, because there's so many like different beats getting up to that moment. I mean, we have, you know, Louis thanking him, Lestat, asking about 1973, and then the final conclusion of Claudia and everything. How did you guys kind of like pace that out, leading up to shooting and everything like that, and how you were going to kind of craft that scene?
The boring answer to that is that we you block scenes
Uh-huh.
before you shoot them, but I think a lot of the time Sam and I just do our thinking independently and then kind of go off instinct. Like we always surprise each other,
Uh-huh.
and then you take the cue from the other person and you just like it. That is generally the way we work. But I know that we both spoke to Rollin about that scene before we shot it. Yeah, there are a lot of moments, but I actually think that this show always has 100 moments per scene. You
Yeah.
can play any number of versions of any given scene, but actually, I think that that is one of the simpler scenes in the series. Like it is like you say, it's a recognition and an acceptance. Maybe not acceptance. It's an acknowledgement. It's the same as recognition. Same different word, same meaning. They're acknowledging uh each other, and I don't think it's just like forgiveness. I don't think
Yeah.
Louis is like forgives Lestat for the trial. I
Yeah.
think he's just like, it's not really about that. It's and even the thank you is not really like oh, thank you so much. Like it's like
Yeah.
I get it now. I know what this is. I know what I have.
Yeah.
I know what this is, and it's a gift. But yeah, I think that scene is just like about love and the loss of it. And is there like a an inkling? There is a little spark. There's a spark between them. And I don't mean like in a sort of they're gonna ride off into the sunset right now,
Yeah.
but just like, yeah, we were a family and we broke that family. We destroyed it. We let this we could have protected Claudia. And even though the circumstances around her making were icky, to
Yeah.
say the least, like they didn't really know what they had with Claudia until she was gone, how
Yeah.
brilliant she was, how she did recognize the gift that she had. And yeah, I think it's just something very simple about that. It's grieving parents that have destroyed their own family and have lost this thing that at least for a while kind of united them.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she tore them apart. Like, you know, they did it.
Oh,
It's
for
always Louis and
sure. For
Lestat,
sure. Yeah. It's it's
Like,
it's all of them and what they did and their failures as parents, you know, which then led
yeah.
her to like, try to take things into her own hands and figure out a way out of this mess.
Mm.
And
It's always them, you
always,
know?
always
Yeah, they build the house, then burn it down, then, you know, put the fire out, build the house, burn it down, blame each other.
on and on and on and on. Like I said, that scene is just beautiful. And I've already had people pestering me about this because they've guessed who my last final interview is. And I know that you are not going to tell me the answer here,
Right.
but I have to ask.
Yeah.
Can you give us like any little
No,
inclination of,
no,
come on,
no,
no,
no.
nothing?
Why would I?
Why
That would
would you?
completely, it would
It would
entirely defeat the point of
negate
what it
the whole
was.
scene.
Yeah.
Yes, but I had, okay, there we go, guys. I did it. You have me on camera. I tried. I got on the
No.
horse. I went out with my shield and my sword. I didn't put up that hard of a fight, but now
Yeah,
I'm covered.
the whole point of it is that
That
it's
we don't
theirs, it's
hear.
private, and it's
Yeah.
not even mine and Sam's secret. You know, like it's not. It was, yeah. In fact, I'm not even going to say anymore because I just. But like it's, you know, it's Louis and Lestat's thing.
Also, too, the writing and everything is so good, so lush. They give us so much on the show. Is it really asking us that much to like fill it in for ourselves here and come to our own conclusions?
Yeah, imagine,
I mean,
imagine what they said. Imagine what they said, or just enjoy the fact that you don't know what they said and that
yeah.
they're allowed to have fictional characters are allowed to have secrets. They're allowed to have interiors that you are not privy to.
Yes, I do love that we do end with Louis on his own and this with this gorgeous mustard velvet couch, I have to say. Is that as comfortable as it looks?
No, it's terrible.
No?
It's very uncomfortable.
Well,
But
that's a shame.
but I walked in and I like teared up. I just found the warmth in that room so beautiful. Like
Yeah.
the Dubai penthouse as a space is it's a beautiful piece of design, but it's very cold and it
Yes.
feels that surprisingly comfortable chairs, which is good.
Yeah.
But um, but yeah, there is a coldness and a detachment and a like windiness about it. Whereas having that that kind of glow in the center, that beautiful piece of art, and
Yes. And the flowers and the lamp. I mean,
yeah, and it's so Louis as well. That's the
yes.
thing is like I think you do see Louis is quite unrecognizable, intentionally so in Dubai, and it's quite hard to reconcile who he is now with who he was then. And some of those things are by design. Some of those things are like it's all by design. But you know, it was really nice to see like those things connect and become like he becomes sort of more whole, I think.
Yeah. I was curious. My question with like the end of the episode is, why do you think Louis does go back to Dubai? I would have figured that he would want to leave all of that behind. So I was quite shocked to see that he was back in the penthouse.
We leave the damage so we don't forget the damage, you know?
Said it at the beginning of the interview. There it is.
Like he might not be staying there for long, you know? I'm sure he
Yeah.
has property elsewhere,
Yeah.
but I think it's that it's no longer a prison. He's reconstituted it. It can be his home. He's turned it into, you know, what it can. Like I'm sure that awful bed is gone and their bedroom doesn't look like a brothel anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, and it's not their bedroom, it's his. It's
Yeah.
like I think it's his apartment. He's the real estate guy.
Hmm. Yes,
I
with
actually
his
never got a clear answer on that. I did ask.
whose
Like,
name
is
is on the
this?
lease.
Yeah, I think it's Louis.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, I mean he was the businessman. He was the one who come in and was taking control and wanted the private jet and everything like that. So
yeah,
that checks out to me. It's totally Louis' apartment. Armand's name isn't anywhere on that lease.
yeah.
No
It's the
legal
vampire
claim
capitalist.
whatsoever.
What was it? Armand's playing like Candy Crush. That's what he's really doing on his iPad.
Now that the season is done though, do you and you can like talk about everything in totality, do you have like either like a favorite scene that you shot or a favorite scene that maybe you didn't even shoot but that you just loved seeing within the show from season two?
I actually think that scene with Madeline and Claudia in the apartment is one of my favorites. I think it's because I was just like I felt really moved and kind of transported by this new thing.
Yeah.
Like there's a new dynamic, there's this new thing that's coming to this story, and also knowing that that was the tragedy. I've always thought of this second season is Claudia's season. It's about her. It's her story, and
Yeah.
the and the end of her story,
Yeah.
and like just being there during that scene and seeing like how they clicked, because I hadn't seen any of their scenes together from earlier episodes, was just like a kind of a magic moment. I was like, oh, I'm seeing something brand new here, and it feels so lived in, and it
Uh-huh.
feels so their chemistry was just really cool to watch. Yeah, I kind of had to remember to be in the scene. And I sort of love it when that happens. Like I love watching other people being great, and
Yeah.
they were. So I really enjoyed that. There's scenes that I enjoy. Like I really that hurricane Loustat scene. I love to watch that scene, but I can't say it was my favorite to shoot because
No.
it was an insane day.
I was
And
curious,
there's quite a lot of scenes like that.
was that shot in Prague, like on set in Prague, or was that shot in New Orleans?
Not shot in Prague, and
Oh,
there was a
okay.
blizzard. There was a blizzard outside.
Oh, well, I mean, that's kind of putting
Yeah,
you in the right mindset with like blizzard, hurricane.
yeah, yeah. And lots of leaf bloggers and like people pulling at the windows on ropes and pulleys and stuff. Like, it was kind of a nightmare, but we also, I think we made it. I think we made it work, and that I felt really proud of
Oh,
how
yeah.
we pulled it together.
I've yet to watch it and not break down in violent tears.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. That's good. Um,
The breaking down of autumn. That's nice.
yeah, we intend to break you.
Yeah,
Um,
well, job well done.
burn it all down. I loved the scene at the end with the revelation of Armand's betrayal. That
Yeah.
scene, I loved shooting that. It was so odd. Like, it just felt like such an odd shift in Louis. Like he's always so like lost, and I'm always I get quite lost when we do the scenes in Dubai. Quite often I like kind of like fall into a bit of a weird trance,
Uh-huh.
and in that scene Louis is just like, it's done, we did it, and he just
Snap
has
of
this
clay.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think Eric is so funny in that scene.
Oh my God.
His delivery is so funny, and then Assad is like bringing this like tension, and I really enjoyed that dynamic between the three of us because it just had a new energy.
What's the scene you hated filming the most?
Anything in that fucking coffin was just like hell. In those like with those stones, it was just horrific.
Ah, yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you brought that up because I, like, as someone who is healthily claustrophobic, I could not help but watch that and be like, what was that like for him having all of the,
Horrible. It's just
they're,
horrible. And I'm not claustrophobic. I'm the whatever
but
the opposite of claustrophobic is. Like I want to be swaddled. Like I want to be inside a box, a dry box
With no
in
rocks.
this in the city. Like that's like a cupboard. And and like being Louis's bed in this
Hmm.
season was my favorite thing. Like the Murphy bed with the coffin
Love
underneath
those
it.
Murphy beds. Love them.
Being inside there, I would just ask them to leave me in there sometimes because there's a little lamp in there as well. So you
Aw,
like I love that. But
it's
the
like reading
coffin,
the script.
yeah, it's cozy. I
Have a
like
little
it.
coffee off to the side.
Yeah. um the coffin, bless them, because I know there were so many meetings, very talented people that we get to work with on this show. So when I say
Yes.
this, I want to just, as a disclaimer, say I know you tried really hard. So like love and thank you for trying. But there is no way to shoot that scene and it be comfortable. And
No.
everybody was trying. Like, everyone was really trying to make it comfortable for me. And the initial solution was these tiny little menthol rocks. Now, I don't know if you've ever put menthol in your eyes and like a big volume of menthol in your
Ugh.
mouth. And
Ugh.
like the first time we did it, it was like candy. So it was just like, and it went all it, and I had to chew through it to breathe.
Oh.
I had the biggest buzz I've ever had from like food stuff. It was like insane. And then we did it again, and the second time I was like, just give me real rocks, please. I can
Please.
cope with real rocks. But
I
then real
can't do
rocks are
this
cold.
disgusting
Yeah.
menthol
And
candy.
I get beat up on this show. Like we like Louis goes through it. And I don't just mean lit, I mean like the stuff we do is nuts. And I love it. Like I that's the part of my job that I love the most is like there's catharsis to it, but you also are just playing. It's like, you know, you get to play all
Yeah.
day and you
Yeah.
get to pretend like that's very fun. But there are times, and that was the time I think on this show that I was just like, this
This
fucking
is
sucks.
decidedly not fun.
This sucks. And it was also the last thing I shot of the
Oh
season
no.
was a reshoot of the rocks coming over my face.
What a happy thing to revisit and end it all off with.
Like, yeah, it's a wrap. Goodbye,
Like,
everyone.
I'm out of
No,
here. I'm gonna go take a
no,
shower.
no, I'm joking. There's not like there isn't. I could never hate this. Like it's a beautiful thing to be able to work on. I feel incredibly lucky. I've never had the opportunity to work with writing like this. And like it is if you give it your energy and you spend the time on it, it's so rich and so upsetting and so affirming and
Yeah.
cathartic and beautiful. So
Yeah.
like there's not you couldn't ever hate that.
No. And it lends
But
itself
yeah,
so well to rewatching. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I watch these episodes, through the process of editing, and still, like, I think that they're just beautiful each and every
yeah.
time.
I did a lot of crying this season. Louis is always crying,
Always.
and so is Jacob.
Oh, I mean, said it once before, I'll say it again. Louis de Pointe, my little depressed baby.
Yeah,
What are we gonna do with him?
but also the Dark Prince of Abbeville, and also the Vampire Louis, and
Absolutely. He
everything
is
between.
the
Or
knight.
he owns the night,
He
and
owns the night.
if he was the night, he'd be Batman, but he
That's
owns the
right. That's
night.
where I got it. That's where the Batman came from.
Rollin also called him Cuddles, and I fucking hated it. He'd be like, no
You
more
call Louis
cuddles.
Cuddles?
Yeah, Cuddles the vampire because he's like because of his humanity, and and I said after reading episode 6, bearing in mind we had like a meeting between seasons where we spoke to the writers. We had like Zooms. I did, Sam did,
Hmm.
Asad did, and I think Eric did, and they like asked me what were some things that I thought were important. And some of them were like, I think I would love to address how badly Louis treats Claudia. Like that he treats her kind of like an accessory. That there's this really uncomfortable doll thing. She's like a
Yeah.
doll. And I think that there's a big element of that in the book as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And she's a lot younger, obviously, but like I thought that was a really interesting thread to pull, and the thing with Paul at the end. And there was a few other things, and also just like Louis, the callous, the kind of callous version of Louis that like happens sometimes, that kind of peaks.
Yeah.
And then I read episode 6, and I texted Rolin, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing to Louis?"
Episode 6 really tested me.
Yeah, I was like, I hate this guy. He's a jerk.
Yeah. I
Why
mean,
is he
I
being like this?
I
And I
could
love
never
him
hate
so
Louis, but
much.
yeah. Yeah.
I love
I
him. I love him, and he's terrible. But I love him, and he's terrible. But I text Rolin like, I've just read episode 6. It's beautifully written, but ugh. And
what the fuck?
and Rolin just texted me back and was like, it's called an arc. Just like in all block caps, it's called an arc.
Like, yeah, thanks so much. Never
Yeah,
heard that word before. Could you define it for me?
I know. I've literally been doing this nearly 20 years. And like, I was just like, I'm like well, I don't like that you've made me dislike him for a moment. When actually there's like plenty of things about Louis that before that. But yeah, Rolin was like, we need to get rid of cuddles. He can't be too cuddly in season 2. And I think they succeeded.
They did succeed in getting rid of Cuddles. I would be remiss before I let you go, since season 3 has been announced.
Mm.
Is there anything that you're hoping to see, looking forward to seeing explored more, yada, 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 with the new season?
I don't know yet what I'm looking forward to seeing Rockstar Lestat. I'm looking forward to meeting Gabrielle. Like
Yes.
that is gonna be an amazing thing to behold.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I mean, there's lots of things I'm looking forward to. In terms of Louis, I don't know yet. I'm still trapped in at the end of season 2. You know, I'm still like Louis learned to love himself.
Yes.
Like me and Levin would sing we'd sing Exhale from Waiting to Exhale, Shoop, as like, and that was like Louis' anthem for his
That's
arc this season.
beautiful.
And 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 like I'm still in the exhale. I'm loving that he's there. He's found his inner peace for a moment. He's comfortable with who he is.
Yeah.
Because also we all know that Rollin's gonna write some like super unhinged shit for Louis in the future. Like,
Oh
so
yeah.
we know that.
Oh yeah.
And not just Rollin, like Hannah is super unhinged. They all are.
Yeah.
Like,
What's wrong with
so
them?
yeah, so you know, I can't get too comfortable in the
Exactly.
piece.
But enjoying the moment of peace. Despite
Mm.
that, it's not really peace though, because I mean, it's still kind of inviting all of the other vampires. Like he ends with, kind of come at me.
No, but I think it's not just. I think it's sort of come at me, but he's also just like, I don't care. Like, just
Yeah.
stop. I just want to. You just stop telling me. Like,
Yeah.
just stop talking about it. If you're gonna do it, do it. But either way, I'm here. And in fact, let me tell you exactly where I am. And if you wanna if you wanna do all the things you're saying, here I am. Like I
Fine.
don't, I
Yeah.
don't think he's like willing them on. I think he's just like, whatever, dude, whatever.
Well, I have to do for the very final time. Oh, wow. This is fun.
Mm.
Apparently my shot glass leaks. Never fear. There's still definitely liquor in here.
I've got like a little sort of blood smoothie. I don't know if you can see there's like gubbins in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's little bits of frozen strawberry.
Yeah, but we can pretend they're
Yeah.
little, blood clots, right?
Grim. That's
You're
disgusting.
the one who brought up the blood wine earlier. Can't tell me that's disgusting. Jacob Anderson, I'm I'm
Wilton Brown.
I am thrilled, tickled to death to be ending all of this off with you here, sir. Louis de Pontelac, the vampire. So cheers to being shot through the heart quite a few times by you and your portrayal of Louis in Interview with a Vampire, season 1 and season 2. So here's to you, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers.
But Louis gives love a good name.
How was taking all of that down at once with the little chunks of strawberry?
I'm still working on him. Yeah.
Since this is the end of the season 2, I have a cheap $8 bottle of champagne here.
Is it cursed?
Maybe,
Okay.
I fought a girl in a parking lot for it, so we're gonna
So
pop this
yes.
open as the final. Look at that. Look at that. To really send us off, because this has been a fantastic little journey for me. And honestly, cheers to everything, right?
Thank you.
Thank you so, so much for talking to me all
Of
this
course.
time. I hope that I get to do a fun more chats in the future.
Absolutely. And that's a high five, by the way.
I'm giving it back to you. Boom. Just high five through space and time.
Recently reading Vampire Lestat, and there's this amazing beat. I think it's when he's in Marius's house, he's in Marius's sort of seaside
Cool little
tower.
Greek, cavern or whatever.
And that sort of goes. He's asleep, and then he wakes up, and he has one word, and it's vanity. He just like wakes up and says vanity.